Hi everyone, I'm Cherie. Today I'm going to show you how to make your gelatin flowers. We're going to make a little blossom stem like this. You can see. So what you will need: cold water, 3 tablespoons of cold water, gelatin, 1 tablespoon gelatin, my bad. You're going to take tablespoon, nice and level, and you're going to sprinkle it over the water. You want it to let it rest so it becomes nice and spongy. Okay. You want it to have a consistency like this. Okay. Now, the following materials: you will need 28 gauge wire, 20 gauge wire, because you need to add those flowers onto a little stem like this. Obviously your flower tape shredder, going to need a long nose plier, side cutter, stamens. I've got nice pink ones here. You cut them into half, like this. Oh goodness, like this. Okay. Put them back. I've got 5 stamens for each flower. The flowers have 5 petals, so it's a stamen for each petal. The other thing you will need is a nice oasis like this, so that you don't damage your wires when you insert them. I used very small rose cutters to form my wire around the cutter to get it to the shape that I want. And I used a rose leaf cutter as well to make my leaves. Now, after you've got your mixture nice and set, I'm going to add it onto my double boiler. Put your bowl back, put your stove on, and then you can add your bowl onto your pot. Make sure when you melt down your gelatin that it doesn't get a lot of steam or any steam into the pot. You don't want it to change the consistency of your mixture. So once that is completely melted, take it off the heat. Remember to wipe down the bottom for any of those steam droplets. Now, when you want to color your gelatin, you can use gel or you can use powder. So the gel gives it a very translucent, glossy look, and then your powder gives a very papery look. So there's a difference between powder and your gel. So the gel is glossy, your powder is a little bit more on a paper side. So what I do is when I color, I use a little bit of my mixture into a bowl so that I can dissolve the gel that I'm using. Otherwise you're going to have, it looks like lumps or little specks of gel that didn't dissolve properly. And you want it to be nice and dark, almost like a, basically like a cerise. This is the color you will get with that cerise color. So obviously it's not the color that you mix, it's not the color that you're going to get. It's going to be a lot more light. So now I'm going to add a little bit of my mixture in here. The reason why I mix this as well separately, when you mix it, it forms bubbles. We don't want bubbles in our mixture. So this you can mix quite say too vigorously, but just mix it until it's nice and dissolved. When it's dissolved, you can add your rest of the mixture into your bowl. I prefer any bowl that is microwavable, so when it sets too quickly, I can pop it in the microwave for a couple of seconds to dissolve again. Because if your mixture is too thick, it's gonna be difficult to get that nice thin translucent look that we want. So I'm adding that rest. Now when I try and combine this mixture, just go slowly. You don't want to create excess bubbles. Okay, so while the mixture is resting, we are going to form our petals and our leaves. Okay, I have cut my 28 gauge wire into two. So now I'm going to take my first wire, let's do the leaf, and I'm going to fold it the middle of my wire to the top of my cutter. Folding it over all the way to the bottom. Taking my long nose pliers, and I am securing the wire at the bottom. The excess you can just use your fingers, twist them all the way down. Now for the top of your leaf, just pinch it a little bit in the shape of your leaf to get that pointy tip of a leaf. Now for the other petals, I've got a big one and I've got a smaller one. I'm creating a branch from smaller flowers going down to bigger ones. So I'm going to make two smaller ones and I'm going to make two big ones. So it's going to be 10 of each. Again, in the middle of your wire, middle of your cutter, folding it over to the bottom like that. Taking my long nose plier and I'm twisting it to secure it. Don't twist too hard, the wire will come off. Releasing it from my cutter if it doesn't want to go. There we go. Okay, and the bigger one. Middle, top of your cutter. Remember, the sharp end is the bottom. The little round whip here is the top. Securing it, closing it up. Okay, now I'm going to take each of my little petals and leaves. I made extra ones and I'm going to bend them up slightly, just a little bit. All of them. Not a lot, just basically the top part of your petal and leaf. So not in the middle, just right above it. Okay, so now if your mixture does set completely like this, you can pop it in the microwave for at least 5-6 seconds. It all depends on the strength of your microwave. Obviously, the stronger the microwave, the quicker it's going to melt. You don't want it to become too hot because otherwise you're going to have to wait again. So my other mixture that I'm just made, I think would be better to use. If you do find little bubbles in it, what I do, I give it a good swirl a couple of times until I see my bubbles going outward. Okay, remember, we don't want bubbles. So the effect that we want to create is when you dip, I prefer to bend my back wire a little bit up to make like a little spoon. You're going to dip your wire into the bowl and you're going to lift it out slowly. Okay, if you do it too quickly, it's going to pop. It's the effect that you want, like from blowing bubbles. So if your mixture is too hot as well, it's going to pop, so be patient. The more you do it, the more you'll get a hang of it. Okay, so let me see. Wait, I can hold this up like that. Okay, let me do that. So it's dipped in all the way from here so that it can expand to the rest of my petal. And by luck, I got this one right the first try. Sorry. Okay, so let me show you that again. Bending my back wire a little bit up to create a spoon, and I'm going to dip it in, and I'm coming up from the back, lifting it out. Oh, you see it popped. Okay, dipping it in, and then I am lifting. So dipping, lifting. Ah, it popped again. So dipping, you can see, and now I am lifting the back first all the way while my petal is still halfway in the mixture. Then I would slowly lift it out. You've got your bubble. Okay, so that you will do with everyone. Your petals do need to rest for at least, for I'd say half an hour, just to make sure it's completely dry. You don't want it to break or pop when you assemble them. Okay, so dipping it in, lifting the back all the way to the tip of it. There we go. So the more concentrated your consistency of your gelatin, the darker your petals will be. Let's do another one, and then we'll do the leaf. Okay, dipping it in, lifting it. I know a lot of people don't show you how to lift it. They just say dip it in and then lift it from the back. So dipping it in and lifting the back part first, then the tip. There we go. Okay, I'm going to melt the green of my leaves quickly in the microwave. Okay, so the 3:1 ratio that I'm using is so that we have enough gelatin to work with. If you've got too little, like this, you're gonna struggle a little bit. So using the 3:1 method does quite make it easier. Let's see. Lifting from the back. And if your mixture is too hot, it will pop quite easily. So 3 tablespoons of cold water, 1 tablespoon gelatin. If you can't find the granules, you can use 4 sheets of gelatin. 4 sheets equals 1 tablespoon. There we go. Go got your nice leafy transparent. Okay, putting it aside. So to recap, you've got your 28 gauge wires, your cutters, bending it over to form it and securing it, and then dipping it into your gelatin. So while that is drying, we're going to make the center of your flower with the stamens. So I'm using a light pink. I've cut my stamens into two, a little bit shorter than two. And now, cutting into two is quite fine. I am bundling them up into 5. Like I said, we're making 5 petals, so we're using 5 stamens. Taking your wire, and you are going to start attaching it halfway from your stamens. And now I don't have tape. So you can see my blade is halfway in my tape shredder. Pushing it in. Pulling it through, and then you've got 2 pieces. Okay, let's start again. The glue is quite sticky, so keep a cloth next to you to make it a bit easier to pick up other things as well. Stamens, wire, tape. Remember to release your glue. Taping at an angle downward. Taping all the way down, just breaking off the bottom part. Okay, so here I made extra ones, and I've made my petals. So let's start assembling our flowers. I'm going to take my stamens, I'm going to take my petals, okay, you can see the arch of your petals. So you're going to take your long nose plier and you're going to bend it a little bit backward to all of your petals, arching backward, arching your petal a little bit backward with all 5 of them. Okay, taking your center, taking your first petal, arching goes outward. I'm putting the bottom of my petal at the bottom of my stamen. So obviously if it's a little bit longer, like this one, you're going to add them there. All depends on the preference that you have. And then I'm going to attach each petal individually so that my petals don't move around. I want them nice and tight. You don't always have to go all the way down again, just go halfway. Glue. Next one. And don't worry when you attach your petals if they move. It's your flower. You can move them back into the direction that you want. See, move them. I wanted to move them a little bit more in, like that. And remember to try and overlap your petals. It always looks more natural when you overlap your petals. Make sure your tape is flat the whole time. You don't want it to be chunky. You don't want chunky flowers. Flowers are delicate. Leaving that one there. Releasing your glue, don't forget, taping downward like that. You want it nice and thin, nice and tight. After you tape them all together, now you can play around and move your petals in the position that you want. So this one I'm making a little bit more closed so that I can add it on the top of my little branch here. So let's assemble. Next smallest one, you can even take your long nose plier and just bend it a little bit outward so it looks like that, and you attach it underneath the other one. A little bit more. The last one I normally try and open up quite nicely due to the flower blooming. Like I said, your smallest rose cutter makes quite a nice blossom. Last one. You can do a nice range. You can either attach them going down a spiral. You can see going down a spiral. And now for your leaves. I'm going to add a couple of leaves underneath. Remember to bend them backwards as well. Backwards. And remember, your leaves can go from bigger to smaller. Add them a little bit, just slightly below the other one. You can, this tape. You can even add leaves in between your flowers, and there you've got a pretty little blossom. So you can buy your wires, your florist tape. We've got these lovely stamens from them as well. They've got a variety of colored stamens. They've got white ones, which you can color with the gold and silver, in any color that you want. They've got nice colors as well that you can use to color your gelatin. And that is that for today. Thank you for joining me.